I have to change hats right now because I now will moderate a panel. A panel of people from practice, just out of practice, and I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Sansan Myint, and she's a REACH facilitator, so working with the UN organizations in Myanmar. Give her a big applause because Myanmar is not an easy place to work these days. You're allowed to sit. Yes, please.
I'm allowed to sit there.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'd like to have your warm applause for Rina, Agustina, and she's the chair of the Human Nutrition Research Cluster and Doctorate student program, and a lot more focused on nutrition. Give her a big hand. And last but certainly not least, you can sit here. Give him also a big hand. Mr. Axton Salim, he's the director of Indofood, and he is co-chair of the Sun Network. And he deserves an applause because he only learned half a day ago that he was invited to act in this panel. So it didn't take him out of his sleep. We can be happy about this, but you're on the spot. Have mercy with him. I encourage you, because I start with some questions, but I encourage you that if you have questions, very practical and pragmatic questions, listening to them, reach out, so raise your hand, and maybe we can take one or two questions from the floor. I'm in favor of interactivity. But let me start with Sansan. Sansan. Listening to the multi-stakeholder need of multi-stakeholder collaboration, how do you think it can be organized in the best possible way?
A multi-stakeholder platform is very important for an effective nutrition promotion delivery system. As the UN REACH facilitator, I bring partners around a table. I bring 9 UN agencies, including giants like World Bank, UNICEF, and others. And then we have 9 agencies there sitting around the table, but we also have an extended members, which is the Sun Civil Society Network, and then we also bring donor networks, because it is not enough for the UN to be talking to itself. We have to bring in partners, and we have to show the need for multiple partners.
And what do you talk about then, and how do you create impact?
Well, we discuss, how best we can pool our resources, pool our talents, pool our capacity together to support the government efforts to improve nutrition by bringing down their services right down to the grassroots level, not just at the national level, but right down to the grassroots level, where the people living there have the greatest need, the most urgent needs.
Can you give one example of very successful action you decided upon and what you implemented in Myanmar, although we all understand how difficult it is these days?
The one action that we have really succeeded is to support the network of ministries. Actually, we have started supporting not just the ministry, the traditional Ministry of Health, but we have a network, a sector coordinating network for nutrition, set up by at the highest policy level. And it includes the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Social Welfare, Planning and Finance, and Education. Somebody mentioned that education is not very visible, but in our case, we do have a very active involvement on education. And what have we succeeded working together? We have started up a maternal cash transfer program. So we have brought in social protection, as a vital, a core component of our nutrition promotion in the country, improving the nutrition status in the country.
Thank you very much. Madam Rina Agustina, you are important in research. How do you manage to dialogue with the government in order to have a demand-driven research program?
Okay, thank you very much, Gerda. I will speak from the bottom of my heart.
Shoot. So let me take your papers.
Yes.
There.
Yes. I think partnership in multi-stakeholders is very crucial and must. But the problem is that where the scientists actually and academic institutions take a role, they might add value, but do they take a role as a leader? So I want to bring a notion scientists should take a leading role on this partnership. But the most important one is that scientists is a teacher of nations, so they have to direct this partnership into the certain beneficial impact to the people, to the betterment of the prosperity of the people, especially the mother, the children, the family, and all the people around household, and also all the nations.
Do you also work with students?
Pardon?
Do you work with students?
Yes, I'm actually the head of the study program of Doctorate program, and I work for almost 16 years with students, and I'm happy. Students is a young generation, but my question is always how we can facilitate these students, because they are actually very talented young individuals. We need to facilitate them more in order to feel that they are actually becoming a global leader in the country. They can move the government to take action. They can move the science to grow. They can move themselves to become really somebody in their country.
I presume you are challenging them. How do you challenge them to make a step forward and to contribute to making the difference?
Yes, I always encourage them to, first they have to have a passion in their work. The second, they should have a commitment. They have to commit until success and never give up. And what I encourage them, they should make a good plan on research and make it published and communicate to the people. Because publication is the way they actually fulfill their ethical concern to the public, but at the same time, the publication is also the proof that actually they're doing something.
Okay.
But the problem is that we do not teach them a lot on how to communicate with the people. Okay. So I think that's something that we are lacking on.
Very good. But to challenge them is already something, eh? Axton, Salim.
Hello.
You are in the private sector, and the private sector has to play an important role because they are in the food system, and they have to also play an important role in preventing and fighting undernutrition, but especially overnutrition. What are you, as a leader in the private sector, contributing to?
I think before anything, I think I would like to thank Ministry of Health, Ibu Nila, and also Dr. Gunhild on organizing this world-class event. I think it's great that we shine a light on Indonesia to start with as one of the pioneers to be someone or a country that is very pro nutrition. So I'd like to raise that. And on that note, I think I would like to do a sell point on Sun movement for you.
Not for me, but if you think it's helpful here for this discussion, bring it.
Yes. I think the thing is, I've been fortunate enough to be part of the scaling up movement with Gerda and as a co-chair for the business network. And I think for those who are not familiar yet, it starts with the government. And it's the commitments as focal point and also as for its nutritional goals. Then Sun actually brings to the table the private sector, academia, civil society, the UN network, and also philanthropy. And it's all bringing everyone to the table and trying to find a solution for malnutrition. So far, we have 60 countries, and that's participating in the movement. But I would like to also give a shout out to the current government, also with the renewed emphasis on nutrition. There's a presidential decree for the first 1,000 days, which is to tackle stunting, and also even strengthened by another presidential decree for the SDG recently as well. So.
Okay, very good.
If
We have mercy a little bit with you, but
Sure.
please put your paper behind your back as well, because you can talk from the heart. You can take it if you need it.
okay.
I have one more question for you. Because one of the challenges will be also for the private sector to sit around the table with the different stakeholders, and in order to start a discussion on how to collaborate for better impact, be it on undernutrition, or be it on sustainable food systems, or be it on preventing and fighting obesity. If a civil society organization would say, business, what can we expect from business? Because private sector is only there to make maximum profit. How can we trust you? What would you bring to the table then? How would you respond?
I think I'm going to teach you a phrase in Indonesia, which is called gotong royong.
Say it again.
Gotong royong.
All right.
It's a principle that we've lived in Indonesia, that we understand, and we grew up with it. It actually means working together for a common goal. So I think that is already embedded within our lifestyle, our wants, our needs. So on that note, I think if I may, I want to highlight 3 examples.
3 examples, but you can do it by heart.
Okay.
Yes, here we go.
Let's see. So one is actually Nutrition Workforce, which is together with the Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network. It is what we do in private sector with the help of University of Indonesia, in order to give or provide healthier options for our workers in our company. University of Indonesia, as academia, would come in as pre- and post-program evaluation, starting with blood tests, and so we understand the whole effectiveness of the program. Secondly, is from our side, we actually developed a new product called GoFit, which is targeted towards the middle-low class consumers. We understand that it's a micronutrient enriched product, and it's targeted towards elementary school, because we understand that there's a 31% stunting rate for the elementary school students. So we are trying our best to reach this kind of products to the correct markets.
Yeah.
And the third, and also we understand that the middle-low class people would have 2,000 rupiah, and so our price point is about 500 rupiah, which is about 3 cents. And the third one is actually we understand that there's a very importance in the malnutrition for adolescent girls. So we are working together with University of Indonesia, and we understand that education is key. So we have collaborated with University of Indonesia, various professors in the public health, and the Arts Shafia Girls Boarding School, in order to create a program for educating the girls in order to understand about nutrition, about
Thank you very much.
importance.
Thank you
Please.
very much. It's clear. I'd like to invite somebody from the civil society here, who is in the room and want to raise his or her hand, ask a question, or bring something to the table, because we have here from the different stakeholders, important stakeholders. We have the UN, REACH, Myanmar, we have the private sector, Indonesia, and we have research, also Indonesia. But what we are missing here on stage, is civil society. Is there somebody who'd like to bring a perspective to the stage, to this discussion, from the view of civil society? Whoa. Is there somebody from the civil society? Who is representing the civil society organization?
They went home.
Are you kidding me? Really? Yes. Sir, do you like to take the floor? Not a statement, but just a question. What would you like to hear from the panelists when it comes to bringing together the different stakeholders? Is there somebody with the micro? Yes. Great.
Thank you very much.
No. Just stay there. Yeah.
Thank you. Very sad that there is only a single civil society representation in this forum. Anyway,
Sorry, what is your civil
I am
society?
Devendra Singh from Nepal, Civil Society Alliance for Nutrition in Nepal.
Okay.
And I'm representing CSGN in this forum.
Yeah.
We have another civil society as well, but he just left now in, he was from Pakistan anyway, I'm here. So my question is, we are talking about nutrition, food, and food system, and climate change, but besides civil society, we are talking to join hand with civil society, but in this process, in this channel, we don't see the very visible civil society, it's just the symbolic form. So without civil society, what we are talking about...
I agree, no, we agree upon this. We need civil society, of course, but what would you like to bring to the table when you sit around the table and you are requested to do more than just advocacy or just criticizing the other partners of doing not enough or making just profit?
It's about the coordination, how the civil society will join hands with research and the government and the private sector. That's the point where we are looking for, because we are talking about the civil society, but it's the channeling, how we are channeling the civil society in the bigger
Very good.
network.
And if I would ask you what would be your solution, because I have a suggestion, but I want to hear your solution. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, he is brave. He was identifying himself as a representative of civil society, and he's even able to take the floor. So we have to admire him.
Thank you, of course. I will do it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great. Very good.
Yeah. So it is about the coming into the bigger network, and it's not only the challenging that civil society should be listened,
No.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know many civil society organizations who just come to the table to only listen. I don't know what your experience is.
I mean that civil society, most of the places. But if I talk about for my country, like we are facing challenges to coming to the table. So there is big problem. There is the barrier that we even don't come to the common platform. So we are struggling for that. So I'm talking about from my country perspective. So we have a big challenge there.
I see your point. Because before you can come to the table, and it counts for all different stakeholders, before you can come to the country, you need to feel recognized as a partner in finding solutions and creating impact. Yeah. And this recognition has to be based on respect, respecting each roles. It doesn't mean that you have to just accept what everybody is bringing to the table, but it's only in respect that we can have a dialogue. That's my first suggestion. Second suggestion, and then we go to the panel again, to organize such a stakeholder dialogue focused on impact, meanwhile building trust, you need to have an independent and reliable and experienced convener, moderator, who is able to guide such a discussion and to bring it towards concrete, measurable action. Thank you very much for speaking up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Listening to this, what is your reaction?
Well, I think as a scientist and academic institutions, we are having three different tasks. The first one is education. It is really clear that we are conducting a lot of training program. And for nutrition, we are one, I would say that our university and our study program is one of the champion in a global sense. And the second is that we are also doing a lot of research in nutrition, and all this research are actually put into account all the aspects of the problem of the community, the problem of the civil society. But the problem is that do people use our result? And the third one, our task, is actually community services. But sometimes, because it's put only 10% of our task, sometimes these community services become lip services. So I would like to say that we have to go more to the community, to try every things, to try every kind of trials that might work against a lot of problems, and then bring that into the proposal to the government, the proposal to NGO and the
I
public
have a
sector.
suggestion for scientists. Research is important. I will not deny it. But we need demand-driven research and science. And the government is in the driver's seat, no doubt. But I would like to see, it's a dear wish, that researchers work shoulder to shoulder with communities, or with farmers, or with health workers, or with private sector, to make their research outcomes work in practice and become scalable. What do you think? Is that a good idea?
Well, maybe I even want to ask you and other audience. I am thinking of, this is part of my dream. And
Sorry?
part of the dream.
Okay.
So we have done a lot of things, but we don't really work together with all stakeholders that much. So I would like to propose a kind of training program. We will put a food system and sustainable diet into curriculum, that's for sure. But we would like to also have a training program with learning process with a real-life setting. One of that is that how the scientists can negotiate, how they can communicate, and how they can take a lead. But at the same time, they also can put together and then push the government to simplify things and also to get speed all the action. So I don't know, I would like to ask, is it any people interested in helping us on this partnership?
You see, we have one hand. It's not that much, two. We're making progress. Three. Very good. We don't want you to raise your hand right now. It's recorded because the master of ceremony told that it is all recorded right now.
Maybe we can ask him.
Yeah, I will ask them. But I think this is a very good gesture. Put something on the table. Step out of your comfort zone. Be ready to change your way of working for the better, for collaboration.
Okay.
Where are you ready to step out of your comfort zone in order to work together with the different stakeholders?
I think I'm gonna use another Indonesian saying.
No, that paper.
I'm gonna use another Indonesian saying.
No.
Hold on. So, it sounds cheesy to Indonesians, but I think it works this time round. It's tak kenal, maka tak sayang. So, which literally means you can't love what you don't know.
You can't love what you don't know.
So, I mean, just to answer the men, from the civil society, I think trust is earned. Trust is needed. Trust is earned. I think there's always we always have to continuously build on it, and with government as a focal point, it needs to create opportunities to be able to where private sectors and other parts of the equation can participate to finding the solution. So I think if I may give one quick example, is that our government recently shared a national action plan, which would allow the various stakeholders to implement in 100 regencies as our target for multi-stakeholder collaborations for next year.
Okay.
So the concept is that with this, with the critical areas, they allow us to have an a la carte menu system where the private sector can be involved in the areas of either influence or expertise. And then I think this is the arena where we build continuous trust within the Indonesia system.
Very good. The door is open, but we need to hear more from the private sector. Thank you so much. UN, REACH. What do you think about what he said, and how do you see the stakeholder collaboration, multi-stakeholder collaboration move forward as quick as possible, but also as result-oriented as possible?
The UN has to be the mediator between government and civil society, because there's a huge human resources gap, capacity gap, service gap in the government, and they need partners. So we need to advocate that you need partners, and to make sure that your service delivery is effective for the people you are trying to serve, and for the people in the remote areas to be reached with basic social services. And the civil society is that ambassador to the communities, you know. And the second role that civil society can play is to be the oversight in the community, to make sure that government services are indeed being reached, you know, to the community level. And the community who are the people whose different lives we are trying to make a difference are being served with access to social services, basic health services, and information as well, the vital information.
Okay. I have another thing. Good news or bad news, time is up. It's here on my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being so much involved, and that even somebody was able to take the floor. Say a big thank to our panel, because I told them that they had to speak without papers, but I was surprising them from time to time with questions we hadn't discussed before, but I promised them to do so. So give them a big hand, please.